Hi. So I've made videos like this before. This is not the first time, but maybe the first time somebody sees this. I'm making honeysuckle jelly. So what I do, or what I've done is, of course, I pick the honeysuckle flowers, and you only want, so if it's the yellow honeysuckle, then it's the yellow ones you want. You don't want the white ones. They haven't matured yet to carry the flavor. So you pick the yellow flowers. You want to get 4 cups of flowers to make this recipe. Okay, so 4 cups of flowers, and you make a tea out of that. So once you get your flowers and you get them all cleaned up, which I don't wash them, by the way, because I have done that before and it takes the flavor away. So yeah, I don't wash them anymore. I just clean them, by hand. And then you take 4 cups of water. So if you have 4 cups of flour, you do 4 cups of water. And I usually do like 4.5, because you're going to lose some. Anyway, then you boil that water, and then you cut the water off, put your flowers in it, and cover it, and let it steep overnight. That's what you do. That's the best way to keep the flavor of a flower specifically, because flowers are more delicate. So you do that, you steep them overnight in boiled water, not boiling. And then you strain it, and then you want to end up with 4 cups of tea, of liquid. So you take that liquid, the 4 cups, put it in a big pot, not a little one, because when you're cooking it, it rises. So if your tea is only like to here, it's going to get up to about here. Well, you can see how high it gets. Yeah. So you always have to have a long utensil and a big stock pot to make something like jelly because of it boiling. So you put that 4 cups of tea, and you use 2 bags, or boxes rather, of pectin, of the powdered pectin is what I prefer. I don't know. I don't have as good of results with the other kind of pectin. So it takes 2 boxes because there's no natural pectin, not much, not enough in a flower. It's not a fruit, so it doesn't already have that pectin in there. So you need 2 boxes. You take the tea, the 2 boxes of pectin, and then a 1/2 cup of lemon juice. And 1 teaspoon of butter. Actual butter, not margarine. And the butter, what it does is, you don't have to do this part. You can skip the butter. But what the butter does is it prevents the foaming that happens when you make jelly. Most of the time when you make jelly, it gets this weird foamy layer that everybody has to skim off. Well, it helps with that. Although flower jellies, like jelly made from dandelions or honeysuckle or whatever, it doesn't foam up as much as like a fruit. But still, I like to do it because it does prevent the foam. And you get that boiling. Once it starts boiling, like a hard boil, you add 4 cups of sugar. White sugar is what I did. I also make an organic one out of raw cane sugar, organic raw cane sugar. So, but you can't use something like sucanat, which is like a molasses sugar. You can't use it. I've tried it and it did not work. It turned to like a syrup. It never would gel. It done something weird. So yeah, it has to be like a natural crystal sugar. Anyway, 4 cups of sugar. And once you put that sugar in there and you get it all stirred in, you let it boil for 1 minute. And then you take it off the burner. And now I'm not waiting on anything other than I'm waiting to make sure it's gelled enough, because it is a flour. And like I said, there's a lot less pectin in there. So sometimes it might not gel as much. I don't know why. So what I did was I put some in my refrigerator, or freezer rather, just to set it up so I can see how gelled it is, which is pretty gelled. It could gel more. It's not, it could gel more. And the only way that I would gel it, make it a little bit more thickums, would be just to put it back on and boil it again for another minute or two. And yeah, and then it'll be thick enough. And it pretty much is, but it would be like a thinner jelly, like a lot thinner jelly right now. It's not really moving, but you can tell it will. So yeah, so I'm going to boil this again for like 2 more minutes, and then it'll be thick enough. So I just also washed and then boiled the jars, the lids, and the rings. And I will take those out. These are the tools you need. You need these tools right here. You need a funnel, you need a little magnet to pick it up, and then, you know, something to scoop your jelly out. And you put it in your hot jars, and once you get them in there, you have to clean, so you get a clean washcloth, and you have to clean the rims off where there's any jelly. It won't seal, so you have to make sure the edges of the jars are super clean. And then you put the seal on it, and then the ring on it. And then I will take all the jars and put them back in this water, same water, and do what's called a hot water bath. So that just helps them seal. So once they're on, the lid, everything's on really tight, you put them back in here and you cut it on again and let it start boiling. And you just boil it in this hot water bath for 10 minutes. Then you take them out and you put them somewhere like on a counter that is like kind of draft free, and maybe cover it with a towel, you know, and let them sit there, and then they'll start sealing. You could put them like in your oven, like on a cookie sheet or something, just to have them set somewhere that it's like, so they cool down slowly, basically, is what you're trying to do. And that's it. That's honeysuckle jelly. And it's super easy. It's super delicious. It takes you right back to childhood. So it's a popular seller for me. Now, if I did not want to make jelly, if I wanted to make a syrup, I would have took that 4 cups of tea, and I would have added 4 cups of sugar, and I would have heated it up and added, like, I forgot how many, just some. You have to add some lemon juice just for preservation, but not a lot. You don't want a lot. So like a couple teaspoons of lemon juice, and you just heat that up, and then you put it in your refrigerator, and it's good for like a month or so before it would go bad. I mean, it takes a long time to go bad, and you can freeze it too. So yeah, you don't even have to make jelly. You can just make syrup for whatever you like to make syrup and use syrups for. All right. I hope that was useful. Peace.